Since 1983, FAME has helped business and education work for Maine. Contact the Authority, the Finance Authority of Maine.
Welcome. This is our Afterthoughts segment where we keep our guests around from the broadcast show to have some additional time to drill down and have a little more detailed and hopefully candid comments on some of the topics we didn't get to at the show. This week we are dealing, the show is about the next list winners, nominees for this year, for 2010. There were 10 of them, and we had 4 of them on the program this week. We have with us today Tony Jabar, CEO of Cerealus Holdings in Waterville. Casey Bromberg, Development Director for Kennebec Valley Community Action Program, also in Waterville. Bob Neveu, CEO of Certified.com in Portland, and Jason Parent, Director of Communications for Northern Maine Community College and President of the Maine Delegation to the 2014 World Acadian Congress. First of all, that title's way too long. Gosh, no. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate it. You know, one of the things we were talking about, it came up in both segments, but then also just in the break we were talking about, I was just going around asking where everybody was from and where they went to school, and there really is this kind of, this connection here. I mean, Bob, you went away to go, you're a Portland native, or no?
So Hoosier by birth,
okay.
Buckeye by choice.
Yeah.
Graduate from Deering High School.
Deering High School.
Yep. And then went away and came back.
And then came back. And
yep.
Of course, you've been up and educated yourself up in the northern Maine area, throughout the state, and University of Maine. So let's talk about that for a minute. Just as emerging leaders, how, and you talk, in case you talked a little bit about that that push towards secondary education and needing more of that, how is that going to affect what we can do here in Maine? What do you see as the importance of our university system, our community college system, and what are the pluses and minuses, and upsides and downsides? Anybody?
Well, certainly the upside is that you have a land-grant university such as the University of Maine that not only provides secondary education, but it also provides resources for businesses in the state, such as companies and myself. And there's actually a lot of development of economic development, if you will, going on at the university with respect to the research and development programs that are ongoing there. That are kind of linked to the programs, the undergraduate programs that they have. So the resources that are available are, from my standpoint, incredible. And I'm certain that other states have the same type of things. But it's important to support that for many reasons.
So the investment in the university system, the community college system it's more likely that investment will have returns right in our state as opposed to those folks.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And I think it's clear across the country.
I mean, I've had the opportunity to work in both the University of Maine system and the Maine Community College system, and I've seen every day for the last 13 years the positive benefit that both institutions have on the lives of Mainers, and certainly the investment that the state puts into those institutions is worthwhile. Are there efficiencies that can be created? Yes, I believe that there are, and I think that as we move forward, that needs to be on the table, and that discussion needs to happen moving forward.
Let me ask another question that relates to that then. I think especially with the tech businesses that are represented here today, are you getting the technical skilled workforce that you need out of our system to be able to find the workers you need?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right now our company is only 10 strong, so we're still in a growth mode. But my prior firm, we had 85 employees in Portland,
right.
And we really never had a problem finding the skilled labor base that we needed. And it's not necessarily just because it's a software company doesn't mean they all have to be IT programmer types. You have some of those folks, but you also have skilled labor in everything from sales and marketing to product management to technical deployment, things of that nature. So we've always had a very good luck at finding those skilled individuals, and in sometimes you will see a tightening in the marketplace, like any labor environment where it's tougher to find the people you're looking for. But there's always been a good supply.
Okay.
I think the question of the skilled workforce is an interesting one, because right now you have about just under a quarter of all Mainers have a college degree, a 4-year college degree. And there was a report out this summer from Georgetown University that went state by state on what the needs of the workforce are going to be by 2018. And they estimate that 59% of all Maine jobs are going to require a college degree as the bare minimum for just getting in the door for an interview. And so when you look at what needs to happen there needs to be not only the investment in the higher education, but also the bridges to higher education. How do you get people so that we can increase that 25% to closer to that 60% that we need to have?
Anything thoughts on that?
Well, I think reflection of what Bob was saying earlier, it's at this point, I think it's safe to say that the people that were turning out of the universities, and I don't mean that kind of, I mean that in a very positive way, they're looking for work. So economic development in our communities to provide jobs for these people when they get trained is probably, at least at this point in time, critical.
Right.
In order to continue that public support of, why are we going to the University of Maine when I go there and I get out of school and I have to go to, my son just graduated in June, and he's off to DC tomorrow to look for work. So.
Right, right. Did you see Libby Mitchell's commercial? All her kids came. Okay. Okay, let's talk about politics for a minute while we got you here. Yes, you've heard there's a governor's election and a legislature and a whole new Congress too, by the way. I'm really interested in your experience out there, especially as leaders, emerging leaders. Are they hitting on the right issues? Are they getting it right? Is anybody getting it right as far as Maine's economy going forward?
I think they're hitting on the right issues, and it's good to see that they're all kind of laying out their education plan.
Okay.
And for me personally, I think that that's a critical issue, short term and long term for the state of Maine. We're not going to have a population of 5 to 10 million people here, and so the people that we have to be motivated, educated, and so I think it's critical that is addressed. And Jason talked earlier about some of the efficiencies and whatnot. So it needs to be. It needs to be very important and at the forefront.
Okay, let me change the question then. As emerging leaders and business people and people who run organizations, would you support tax increases to approve those kinds of spending? I mean, we're going to be facing $1 billion deficit. You guys run organizations and businesses. How would you fix it? I mean, you got $1 billion deficit. Clearly, there's a need for investment in not only education but R&D and things like that if we're going to move to that next knowledge-based level. What would you be your advice to if the governor called you and the next governor, he or she, on the first day and said, "Yeah, smart guys, nexters, how do we fix this?" What would you do?
That's a tall order.
Yeah,
It
that's
really
a real
is.
tall order. I don't have any particular
Yeah.
answer for that. I
Yeah.
mean, I think everyone has to give and everyone has to take, and you have to find out the best way forward. And you're going to have the two political parties and two widely different views on how to solve any particular issue. I just hope we can find a common ground and come together to solve it together.
Yeah.
I can tell you I'll have the opportunity to sit across from 4 of the 5 candidates for governor and moderate a debate, the only debate in northern Maine on the 26th of this month, and we're accepting questions from viewers in northern Maine and one of the questions that's most often repeated is a question very similar to the one that you're asking, is how do you put the state back on track? How do you make it grow? And do you propose cuts or tax increase or a combination of both? And I think that when push comes to shove, I think that a balanced approach to that, which includes both, is going to have to be part of the process. However, we cannot continue to make it so difficult to run a small business in the state of Maine. I mean, we hear from small business owners, students of ours who graduate from our business technology program and start small businesses, about how difficult it can be to run a business in Maine. And that's one of the areas that needs to be addressed.
Is it the regulation issue, or is it the things like cost of electricity and things like that are really driving them?
Both of those.
Yeah.
I think regulation is certainly at the top of the list, and the cost of electricity in our region is one of the things that we're fearful of as we move forward with the merger of the electric utility in northern Maine and Bangor Hydro, which is owned by a Canadian company at this point.
A question I wanted to ask, your organizations managed to succeed pretty well over the last couple of years, even in the middle of, there was a recession. You heard about that, right? There was a recession, a major meltdown of our economy. How do you attribute that? How were you able to kind of move forward? Bob, how about you? I mean, how did the downturn affect you guys? You were growing right through it.
Well, we sort of started at the bottom of the downturn, which is a terrible time to start any new business. So
Yeah.
it was a great choice.
Yeah.
But
Good model.
Exactly. I think really what's true in my business is going to be true to any small business entrepreneur. Your product or your service has to be great quality. It has to be something that your customer values. In our case, it's a return on investment proposition. So the user says, I'm saving time, I'm saving money, I'm controlling my costs, I'm better able to track spend.
It was a great time to be doing a cost savings. I think that
Yep.
addressed the bottom line cost issue.
Absolutely.
Everybody was scrambling to figure out,
Yeah.
I got to cut costs.
And I would say with any small business owner out there, whether it's a bakery, a laundromat, whatever it is, you have to have a product or service that is just better than anyone else out there and be passionate about it.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. We're going to have to wrap it right there. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
See you around. Thank you all.